What's up, guys? This is Gus from GusVillageJewelry.com. I'm making this quick reaction video to let you guys know a little bit of the story of what's happened to me this weekend. I walked into a Rolex boutique store and I want to tell you guys my experience, how I think that affects the Rolex brand, and how the importance of customer service is something that is really important to me, number one, but more importantly to brands in general, building trust and earning people's business legit. So it's not a good story, but let's just get right into it.
Gus Villa Jewelry.
So over the weekend, me and one of my buddies told me, "Hey man, do you want to go down to the design district? I want to buy some shoes from one of these places." Shout out to Fight Club; it's a really cool shoe store in the design district that we went down to, and we decided to just jump on over to some of the name brand stores that sell watches. We went down to Grand Seiko and IWC and Omega and Rolex, and they have all these things in the design district of Miami. If you're familiar with the area, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's kind of this bougie area in Miami, and all these like really high-end brands are there. And to be fair, we had just come from a bar, so we probably had like 2 beers or something. So we're feeling a little saucy. We're like, you know what, man, let's just go over there and take a look at some of these watches, you know? And I'm telling this story because, you know, it left me really thinking about brands in general, but more specifically my brand and how I could relate this and how I could learn from the experience I had. The thing about Rolex specifically is it's such a well-known brand. Everybody knows Rolex, right? If you walking down the street and you say, "Hey," to a random person, whether they be, 50 years old or whether they be an 18-year-old kid, you ask them, "Hey, bro, give me 3 watch brands that you know, and give me the most luxurious one." 9 times out of 10, what you're gonna get is someone to mention Rolex in those top 3. It's just so well known globally. Now, the problem that I have with that is because there's such an insane demand in there, their customer service at any of their boutiques is just god awful. So I'll tell you my experience. You guys let me know in the comment sections if you've lived anything before like this, and let me know, what that's and how that's affected you really in your overall perception of the brand. So when we first got there, like I said, we had a couple beers and we were having a good time. We said, you know what, let's just walk into the Omega store, see if we like something. You know what I mean? Maybe one of my good friends that I was with, he likes the Seamaster. So we're like, let's try it on. Maybe it's something that you might want to keep or whatever it is. So we walked in there and I could tell you right off bat, I mean, there was a couple people in the store and we spoke to one of the good sales reps. His name is Carlos. Shout out to Carlos from Omega. The guy couldn't have been more nice. We walked in there. I was wearing a Rolex. My friend was wearing a Rolex as well. And we walked in there and we just asked questions. It wasn't anything like maybe gave some really strong buying signs where he knew that we were absolutely going to buy something. It was more so we just walked in and we started talking to him and asking him questions just about the watches that we were looking at. The guy legit stopped what he was doing. He was speaking to another person. The person left. He said, "Hey, man, just give me 2 seconds and I'll be right with you guys." Stopped what he was doing, attended the customer, came to us, shook both of our hands, asked us our name, and couldn't have been any more nice. We tried on watches. At this point, he knew, like at some point we were like, you know what, man, the Seamaster, we could probably get it. I could probably get it much cheaper or whatever the case may be is. So let's not even buy it retail, maybe save you a couple $1,000s if ultimately, because they are trading on the retail, if ultimately this is the watch you want. He said, well, let me think about it anyway. So he knew, like right off the buying signs, if you're a salesperson, you kind of know when someone's going to buy something or not. The minute we started asking questions, he couldn't have been more excited to tell us or show us the watches. Anything that we had an inquiry about, he was asking. I was asking questions about the movement. I was asking questions about what the alloy mix. At some point, I had asked for him specifically what the alloy mix was in the Seamaster, what I thought was the bronze one. He turned around and asked one of the guys who were in the servicing to call someone that he knew to get that exact mix. It wasn't even that much of a question for me, to be honest with you. It wasn't even like, it wasn't that important. And what happened was, it showed me, really, that's the main key. It showed me how incredibly important it is for them to make sure that the person that's in their store cares, right? So after I have this great conversation, we shake it up with Carlos, and I'm like, hey, brother, thank you, man. You know what I mean? We're going to take a look at these watches, probably have my friend, sleep on them, and we'll see if he ultimately wants one, blah, blah, blah. Stepped out of there. He thanked us for coming in, and we walked out. And then right next door to the Omega store, literally right next door to the Omega store, is the Rolex store. So we said, you know what, man, let's just walk into Rolex, see what they got. I know they're not going to have anything, but let's just see what they got and just walk in there and just chat it up with them. Same thing. Ultimately, it's an experience, right? I'm the customer. They are the brand. They're the company. And ultimately, I should feel at any place, no matter what it is, I should feel wanted in that space. So in other words, someone comes to my shop and they come to my store, I want them to feel like I want to earn their business, right? When I couldn't express to you the polar opposite of how the experience went when I walked into Rolex. I walked in, I answered. First off, there's a little door. You knock on the door, and I get it for security purposes. The security guard's going to come out or whatever. But this lady came out, and she just cracked open the door. There was maybe one person in that store. So she cracked open the door, and the first thing she said, hey, how can I help you? Right? So number one, who the hell opens the door at any place like that and says, hey, how can I help you? In other words, putting your body to block the door and just coming out like that is not a very welcoming, how can I help you? It's more like, what the hell do you want? In other words, right? So off rip, I already felt kind of weird and apprehensive. And I had heard many times from many people that this kind of goes on. But until you actually live it, do you realize how ridiculous and how pompous that whole Rolex brand and organization is about. And now here's the thing. I'm a Rolex fanboy. I have several Rolexes. My friends have had them. I've collected them over the years. And I'm a big, big brand fan of Rolex. I am. And I will continue to be. But just that experience is something that's so off-putting that I could completely understand how there are other people that start looking for other brands because customer service is so incredibly important. So as soon as I walk in there, I say, hey, listen, I just wanted to see if I could take a look at any of your watches. And is there anything else that maybe I could put on a list or something? Which I know that there's no list, let's be honest. I just wanted to get in there at this point because I didn't want to stand outside like a freaking loser, right? So the lady smiles and she goes, well, we don't have anything in the store. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, once again, telling me to basically move on. And once again, I told her, okay, well, can I look around? At this point, I'm like asking her to open the door so that I'm not looking like an idiot outside just waiting there as she just tells me to go bounce. I felt like I was at Club Live and I was like dressed in flip-flops and they were like, bro, scram. You know what I mean? It was so incredibly, almost embarrassing in a way. Finally, she's like, okay, come in. And so she opens the door and we walk in and then she takes us almost straight to the back. And as I try to start looking for the models and start looking over there, she's like, okay, well, we don't have that one. We don't have anything. Again, reiterating the fact that they don't have any models. Completely understand that. And I'm not asking to waste anyone's time. But what the hell are you doing as a sales associate if you're not selling, right? It's not like there was 25 people in the store and they got the whole help 25 people because otherwise they're not going to be able to sell enough watches or meet their quota that day. You have no watches or you have no watches. They're for sure in the back. I haven't had a relationship with that AD to buy those watches. But ultimately, you're not doing anything else, bro. You're literally just sitting there and you're just being so rude. And this is not just one experience. This is the same experience that I had about 8 months ago when I tried to do the exact same thing. I'm trying to get on the list for a root beer. Ultimately, I can get one here. I can get it at a wholesale value. But nevertheless, I want one from an AD because I want to buy those and I keep those in my collection, right? It's the same thing that's happened over and over. The absolute arrogance that Rolex has as a brand because of the insane demand it has at this point has gotten straight up ridiculous. It's just straight up ridiculous. It turns people off like myself who are 100% Rolex fanboys into angry customers. And that's the reason why I want to emphasize how important customer service is for people who are spending their hard-earned money. I say that in my posts on Instagram, if you guys have followed me, and I'm not trying to turn this into like, oh, Gus is better, Rolex sucks, because that's not the point. What I'm trying to tell you is the importance of customer service. Right after we got basically escorted out, because once she said that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to stay here while you tell me that they don't have anything. I put my name on this stupid list, which of course is not a list. They just signed me the paper so I can get the hell out of there. I moved out and I walked and I said, you know what? Let's go to Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko is literally right around the corner. I love Grand Seiko. If you guys know me, I'm a big fan of Grand Seiko. I walked in there. I can't tell you once again the level of customer service that I received in there. Once again, I walked in. Shout out to Joel. He's in Grand Seiko in the design district. Tell him that Gus from Gus Villa Jewelry sent you. He sat down, showed me so many models, explained to me things about Grand Seiko that I had no idea about, and I found myself fanboying over Grand Seiko. Now, Grand Seiko is a very controversial brand because there's a lot of people that say, hey, Rolex doesn't have the finishes that Grand Seiko, blah, 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 and that you're just spending money on the hype, and I get all that. The argument, I'm not having it here. What I'm trying to tell you is the level of customer service that you are going to live in a Grand Seiko store with Joel or with any representative there is completely different than what it was at Rolex. It was night and day. I can't stress to you the difference between the two. And it goes to show that when a brand cares, or maybe when a brand doesn't have such high in demand, and they focus their attention on that, they empower their salespeople to be enthusiastic about selling me the brand of Grand Seiko. Joel was telling me about things that I had no idea, the horology, the movement, the hand-painted dials, the exclusivity behind some of the pieces, the technology that they've created. It was so enthusiastic and so much energy that he spent on a person that wasn't even going to buy a piece. I mean, I almost bought one, to be fair, if it wasn't because I get them much cheaper. But like, point is, I was going to buy one. Literally, that's how crazy it was. Probably the 2 or 3 beers that I had prior to showing up helped me try to convince me to try to buy them. But nevertheless, I was going to possibly buy one. It was so enthusiastic, man. He realized quickly that, again, I was probably not going to buy one ultimately, but it didn't matter. He was there to educate me on the brand, and he was there to show me a different side of Grand Seiko that I had never seen. And I walked out of there with a booklet, a pamphlet, and a completely different outlook on the brand itself. And it was just because of the time and the customer service and the overall experience you have when you walk into any one of their boutiques. Now, full circle, that experience happened to me about 4 days ago, so it's very fresh in my mind. But I wanna challenge people that are especially living right now in 2023 that, you know, the companies and their customer service have really, really lacked. Right? And the importance of treating customers with respect, with time, because ultimately, like I always say myself in posts, in my podcast, in Instagram posts that I've said, we as companies are here because of you, not the other way around, right? I need you. You don't need me, right? As a company, I need you to buy my chains. I need you to buy my jewelry. I need you to buy my watches that I sell. I need you to buy my custom, all the stuff that I sell. I need you to buy that. You don't need me. You're going to be completely fine if you don't ever buy one more Cuban link chain, but I'm not going to be completely fine if you don't do that. So the level of customer service that needs to be displayed for everybody, I don't care if you're buying a burger at McDonald's, I don't care if you're buying a $200,000 Rolls Royce, needs to be top tier. And for that, Rolex is absolutely dropping the ball. They really are, and it's turning a lot of customers off. Now, I understand I'm a nobody walking down Miami. I completely understand that. I don't have millions and millions of dollars. I don't have a super yacht. I can't just go walk in there and buy 20 watches at a time. I'm completely cognizant of that. But it doesn't matter. I still spend my hard-earned money, and I still wear the product. And now, because of things like that, I'm more inclined to buy other products from other people that just treat me better, because that's ultimately what it's about as well, right? Yes, okay, cool. You can have a $20,000 watch on you, or you can have a $50,000 whatever the hell, day. You can have, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you're gonna represent that brand when you're wearing it. And I would much rather represent a brand that's gonna treat me right and cares that I'm actually wearing their piece, right? So I just wanted to let you know about that. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a fanboy. I'm still loving Rolex, but I really think that they need to start turning that leaf over, because at this point, it's turning a lot of people off. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if that's important to you. Do you not really care about that? Is it something that you're just going to still buy regardless of what it is? I understand that problem as well. I just want to have that debate. Is it important to people? Because for me, it is very important in both my own company and where I spend my hard-earned money. So drop a comment below. Let me know. Let's have a discussion about it. Let me know if that is affecting the Rolex brand, and if it's turned away and you found other brands that the customer service may have been a lot better. I'll leave you guys with that thought. Once again, this is Gus from GusVillaJewelry.com. I love you guys. I hopefully will prove to you guys that my customer service is great. Send me a DM, phone call me if you're interested in a Miami Cuban link. That's my shameless plug. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go.